Hello out there, YouTube land. Gonna show you how I put the footers in for my buildings. There's a real nice guy, Clareton Creek, I think is his name. Just happy. I mean, he's the happiest guy, and he had just built a wood shed that his wife probably clobbered him behind it, but I'm not sure. We'll find out later if he's got a black eye. But anyhow, he was asking if anybody else had a way they do it, to leave comments, and I started writing a comment, and then I realized I can't write. I'm not a typer, I'm not a speller, and this would just get really confusing if I was trying to explain this to somebody. But what the end result is this right here. What I'm doing is I'm putting the cement footer in here, and then put angle iron here. This is 3x4, because if you do 3x3, then this gets in the way of this sometimes. Not all the time, but some of the time, I don't know. And I'll show you how I do it. But you can see this wood here starting to rot. This is pressure treated here, so I don't have to worry about this. Just old poplar, and that came off another barn. And the drip edge here, I'm trying to go slow so I don't mess you up too bad. The drip edge there comes down and splashes on it. I don't really care. It's just a wood shed. You can see the wood way up there. Just a wood shed. Here's another one. But it's my first barn I built back in the early 80s, and we put pressure treated 6x6s in the ground. See how that is? And what's happened over the years, they've started to rot, because wood in the ground sooner or later is going to rot. Telephone poles get replaced. There's another one. On the outside edges, if you're running, this might even pull off. No, it's still pretty solid. On the outside edges, you want these on the inside, so you can put a purlin on here and run it that way, and it won't get in the way of that. And anyway, when you run a purlin, if you run, see I have my purlin up so high, it doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't. You could just put your purlin up above that, and you wouldn't have any problem. Yeah, I'm a nut that still does car chains and truck chains and that kind of stuff. Here's an antique chain tool here someplace. There it is. I don't know if you can see it up there. Look at that antique chain tool. Here's a more up-to-date chain tool. If it gets really bad, I can chain everything up. All right, back to how we do this. If I can move around here nice and slow and not make you. So now you see what the top is. How I get to that top is, or how I start by putting a 12-inch auger on my, back then it was a tractor, and I'd line up where I want my holes, and then I would drill the holes, and then I'd put this frame over the top of them, and you could run a string line from here to the next one, and you could go down. The one barn is 95 feet long, so it's just had a whole row of these. And then you can sit there and string line this long edge here on the new. Some of them I made, you could put a, you can see the mark on it here. That's actually a little saw mark. So now you have your post hole holes down. Oh, I can't. Then I got some, I don't know, maybe 1/4-inch rebar, and you can spike it in place. Wherever easiest for you, depending on where your hole is and that kind of stuff. And then is what I do. Okay, now imagine a hole down in there, 4 foot in the ground, and you all cleaned it out, and you put a little bit of rock in there, and you tamped it down so it's hard. Then I made this thing here, and what that does is it holds 2 all threads in there. This is telephone pole throwaway stuff, and I got ones that are 2 to 3 feet long, and I'd weld on. You could weld on the bottom any way you want. This is just a short one I had for the demonstration, but they would come all the way down here. Then I'd put zigzags across like that. So now that the top is in position, and it's welded together now. Imagine 3 strands across this thing, and then you can put it, once the cement comes in, you could take the piece, and you could just shake it right down into the cement to where you had just a little bit sticking above the cement like this, if you follow that so far. Now if you get too high, then you can't put this cross bolt in, so you don't want to do that. There was something else I wanted to say. Then if you also wanted to, if you did your corners first, you could run a string line down the bolt heads. See, now these would be in the ground, sticking up like this. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. The distance between here and here is real critical, because you got to have enough room that you can get your piece of angle iron on there. But like I'm running, these are full 6s, where if you got something at the store, it might only be 5 and I don't know, half, 5 1/4. I don't know what store-bought stuff is anymore, but this is a full 6. So you got to have that. That's a certain dimension to match these, because I wanted these to be as close in here as I could on both sides, and then this as high as I could, and that pulls it together, and this pulls it down tight, and it really holds it pretty well. Now it's not as sturdy as burying a pole, I know that, but if you ever have a problem and you got to cut that pole out for some reason, you can cut that pole out a lot easier than take it out of the ground. I got a barn that I built in 81 or 82, treated poles, and they rotted off, and the barn's getting slower and slower. Here, to set the sea container on, I just put a 4 foot down and build a frame up there. You can see another, oh, there's another one in there. I'm working on something in here. There's another one of those. And you can see, because I got the purlin on the outside, I got the bolts front and center. I'll go show you a real good one up here on another set of footers I put in years ago. We were going to put a porch on back here, and we never did. It was like, put a porch on, then no, we don't want a porch, and then we wanted a porch, and then we didn't want a porch. Well, when I was doing all this, I put in the 3 footers for it. Now this a builder put in, so that's another sore point. I guess I could measure the width of this and it'll tell you what a bought one is, but everybody out there knows what they are but me. That's a doghouse over there. This is basically what it looks like when you get ready to set your poles on. Now these are tight. These have been here since the early 80s. Maybe 83. And if you run your string lines and you get them in just right, you won't have any problem with them at all. I have them in, even the new sawmill barn down there has got some of these in it. Some of them go right into the ground, which worries me, but it was like, you know, if those ones lasted from 83 and that barn still standing, that's almost 40 years. I got a feeling that I'm not going to be 110 when I kick the bucket, so it probably ain't going to make any difference to me. Going back in there. Whew. We're out of energy today. So anyhow, I'll give you one more quick look at those things down there. That's how I do my footers. 1 bag of cement does, I think, 2 holes, maybe 3 holes. It's going to depend on the size auger you use. If you use maybe a 9-inch auger, you can get a little bit more out of it. Might not be as strong. You use a 12-inch auger, it's got a pretty good footprint in the ground. I think you'd probably be better off. Oh, that's where I brought up the wood the other day. I stacked it in there. We're still running. It went down to 20 degrees last night. I guess I ramble on about a little bit of everything. Anyhow, that's a look at how I did that. Go check out Clairton Creek, I think. I don't remember the gentleman's name. I'm just too daggone senile. Man, he's just neat as all. So I think you'll really enjoy him if you like this kind of stuff. Probably enjoy him more and never come back to me. Anyway, let's see what I gotta do. If you like the movie, hit like and subscribe and send it to one friend if you don't mind. Thank you. We'll see you later. Bye.